Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our men's advanced Bible class, the 2nd of November 2021. We're gonna revisit Daniel tonight and go back in there and read some chapters out of Daniel um, later on in the class. This is a non-Messianic channel, and we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah only. It's Tanakh is the Old Testament, and Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of Hosts. So I'm gonna say shalom and welcome to everybody to the class, and then we're gonna do a moment of silence for our Redeemer and our Creator and all that they're doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance, which is fast approaching us. And then we're gonna do a prayer and psalms, and then we'll go into current events. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this time that you have set apart for us. We are thankful for the knowledge that and the understanding that you have given us up until this point. And we seek thy face on this day that you shower us with peace and enlightenment and a sense of togetherness. Oh Lord, we see that hand in the affairs of the world, and we know and understand that what you have spoken in the past will surely come to pass. Turn not thy face from us, but hearken unto our plea. Hearken, O Lord, and do. All praises unto you. Okay. You gonna do that Psalms, Andre?
Yes, sir. Psalms 2.
Okay.
We can go there. I'm gonna start reading, starting with the first verse.
Okay.
Okay. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the ruler take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the othermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. That's Psalms 2. Um, and we can see that a great deal of this Psalms is dealing with David,
Right.
then and futuristic about
Right.
him coming as a Messiah.
Right.
Uh, it also, to me, in the first 2 verses, kind of describes the way things are happening today, that the heathen rage. And we discussed this a lot, even some last night,
Right.
with the heathen doing everything to our people, from
Right.
the Karenicity and to the police violence, social injustice against us. So they rage, and people imagine a vain thing. When I think of that, I think of even though this pandemic is out there,
Right.
everybody want things to go back to normal. They think that
Right.
things is normal. So that's
Exactly.
imagining a vain thing to me.
Right.
And that's what I take away from this Psalms 2.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at Psalms 8. I mean, verse 8. It says, "Ask me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for a possession." And we see he done that, here in Genesis. Let me get it right quick.
Okay.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 18 through 21. This is what he did to Abraham. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, "Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river of Euphrates." Then here go the heathen. The Kenite, the Kizite, the Canaanite, the Hittite. He gave them all these, the Amorite. Canaanite, Girgashite, and the Jebusite. He gave them the heathens for
Right,
possession.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a great precept for that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and we also know verse 7 and verse 12. If a Christian read that, we know what that will go with them.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're gonna take that.
Say,
You know, they
"Thou
can
art
go
my son,"
right.
and then kiss the son.
Or
You know what that's going.
Right. At the
in
same.
verse 4, the Lord shall ask, have them in derision, man. They foolish.
Right.
They
Exactly.
they some foolish. This a foolish nation, man.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it ain't no different. It ain't no different than them and when those 200 angels came down. They was foolish as hell too.
Right,
You know what I mean? They left the
right.
high heavens. They left the high heavens and came
Yeah,
down here. Thought they was
right.
gonna get away. You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and
a good.
it remind me of the king of Assyria, man. That
Right.
pride and
Yeah.
the pride of the people, and
Exactly.
make America great and all
Right.
that bull crap. Man.
Right. Exactly. You can't even see their time that ran out.
Right, and see, that's the part
Right,
where it says the Lord should have them in derision. He
Right.
gonna laugh at them.
Right.
Because he's saying they don't even know their time is up. They don't
Right.
see these judgments that's against them.
Right. Exactly. Right. And then here we are sitting there looking right at it.
Right.
That's what a lot of people ain't really getting now. How we know? How we looking at it? How did we get to the place where we at? That we see all this. You know?
Right.
That's a witness of right there who we are, right?
that's it,
Right.
man.
Because we can look and see what's going on, and we know, okay, we got to sit ourselves down and wait on the
Right.
Lord.
Exactly.
And while they trying to do the most still.
Exactly. Right. And then some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they trying to get things back to normal. They don't know it'll never be normal.
Yeah. No. Time up. That's that's what the trick to that is. Time up for them. See anybody in their right mind can see that.
Chaos and disorder is the normal.
Right. There ain't no going back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they finna see all we gotta do is sit back and watch this judgment, man. We
Right.
I still believe we gonna leave Fort Knox belong to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I believe that. Yeah. I really believe that. And then they got a whole truckload down in New York too. Yeah. So I'm got some current events. Anybody got any current events?
No, sir. I don't have any today.
Okay. I got a couple. We got one right here. Yeah. Can you see that?
Not yet. Okay, something's coming up now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We can see it.
Oh yeah. I said Biden is replaying a forgotten U.S. atrocity against Haitian refugees. It says in spite of the change in administration this past January, hardline immigration officials have continued to weaponize fears about the jab as cover for the near complete dismantling of this asylum protection along with southern U.S. border. The Haitians have become the public face of this program in recent months after the Department of Homeland Security sent thousands of them back to Haiti's violent torn capital, Port-au-Prince, without so much as an interview to determine if they might face persecution on their return. Okay, this is not the first time that the Haitian asylum seekers have been ensnared by high-sounding public health declarations and the arcane quarantine regulations. The decision to imprison several hundred HIV positive Haitians at Guantanamo Bay during the early 1990s stand out as one of the most embarrassing incidences in recent U.S. immigration history. The cruelty and the clinical justification that gave us HIV quarantine at Guantanamo have reemerged in the argument for Title 42 exposure. Dwelling on these parallels can bring into sharper focus that this latest asylum ban is and what its defenders are peddling to the American public, a bad faith reliance on pandemic fears to shriek our legal duties to us asylum seekers at the border. Ain't there some? So I didn't even know about it. Anybody knew about that? They sent a bunch of those Haitians to Guantanamo Bay back in the 1990s.
Now I didn't know they sent them back in 1990. I thought they did a little of that with some of these Haitians.
Now they said right here. They said they sent them back in 1990 when they came. A big old group came seeking asylum, and they sent them to Guantanamo Bay saying they had AIDS.
Oh yeah. Now I didn't know anything about that one. Yeah, that's news right there.
Oh yeah. Ain't there some? Okay. Okay, yeah. So I got this other one over here. This then we go into something else.
Welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. I really want to thank every single person that has subscribed to the channel. We appreciate, love you so much, beloveds. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks to every single person that likes the videos, that shares the videos. This is one of the ways you can, have a revolutionary act, beloved, in terms of getting the alternative news to our people. Special shout out to our Patreon family. We have actually released a link to some books, over a dozen books that would be really an important addition to your library, which look at African history and African American history from around the 1800s. There's just some books on there, seriously. And I've been meaning to do a book review. Maybe that's what I'll get into on my primary channel, Dr. Mumbi Show. So make sure you've also subscribed over there. People have been asking me what I think about everything that's going on. There's massive censorship, and I think the greatest casualty in this is the truth that even now, people who are truthers are being found that they're almost self-censoring so that they can get part of the truth to our people at such a time as this. If you've been paying attention, by the way, there's been absolutely massive demonstrations across Europe, in Canada, in Australia. The Zulus showed up in South Africa and held a massive drive against the New World Order agenda. And mainly what people are concerned with now is the massive, the mass resignation that we're seeing in the divided states and the divided kingdom from police, who are saying, they don't want to, they're not going to be part of the mandate. They're not going to, my body, my choice kind of situation. And a lot of you have been asking me, what do I really think is going on? Beloved, I think nothing right now is by design. I think it's so important that we recognize that the world is a stage, and everything that we're looking at, there's a puppet master somewhere who is pulling the strings. I mean, they said that in Washington, D.C. alone, it was going to take hundreds of millions of dollars to restaff and retrain, the police that were leaving. We've been seeing massive numbers of police saying they're not having it, they're not gonna do it. Same thing happening with the military. I was just told that the military in Canada has actually been told that they will have to get down with the mandate if they want to change. But what is really going on, beloved? This is something that has been, they knew this was coming, because why would we? Why would the divided states be entering the darkest winter at the exact same time they're allowing so many of their police officers who are not down with the New World Order agenda to resign? What's really going on? It takes critical thinking, beloved. And this tells me, I know this is going to sound really far-fetched, but I really do believe that we are going to start seeing robocops. Yep. I really believe that that's where AI is taking us. And you know, we are in such a race. The New World Order agenda, it's almost like I did a show on this before where I talked about how they are literally running out of time, beloveds, to implement their agenda, because they have to implement it before a certain number of people awaken. And the resistance movement is growing. So for me, what I believe is that a lot of the mandates that are being forced on these forces, you know how they call police force. Have you ever thought about that? That the mental, the connotations of that military force. I tell you, everything is mental first, beloveds. Please, check out the Kybalion so that you can know exactly what's going on and how the world is mental first before it's physical. But I am not joking about this, beloveds. We are moving quickly into what they want to call, a police surveillance planet or police surveillance Babylon state. And Robocops are coming. I think if you remember, I think in 2019, I actually did a show where I talked about how the British government had talked about how the divided kingdom was going to have up to 30% of their military be robots, literally, by 2030, because not enough people were enlisting, not enough, they just weren't getting enough recruits locally, they weren't able to get enough recruits internationally, so they were going to incorporate that. And always remember, beloveds, anything that you're told by Babylon is already happening, is already existing. So if they tell you that by 2030, we're in 2021, so in 9 years, they're telling you that 30% of I think it's 20 or 30, of the divided kingdom army will be robots. I mean, don't you think that's ready? And I've done a show on predictive programming. Please go and check it out. How they have been slowly, brainwashing the collective, beloveds, to believe in these robots. It's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched. And how does this concern you? This means, beloveds, that you should be moving out of the cities in earnest, finding your own little nest and building, growing your own food, stocking up on water, stock up on power, beloved, stock up on gas, stock up on, petrol, diesel, whatever your car uses, stock up on, all the things that power your house, beloved. And try and go into non-renewable energy as much as possible. Because what we see happening in the divided states right now is going to have a domino effect on the rest of the world. I mean, I talked about a cloning center once in Kenya and I got followed, guys. So don't think that this is a joke. Robocops are coming. Remember I told you thought police? And you have to think who would be, a lot of the policemen are not desensitized enough to implement the New World Order the way the powers would want it. There are those who have totally bowed to the system, but there are many, many more who haven't. And so they will need to be replaced with something that is less emotional, more methodical, more calculating. Let me know. Let me know if you agree or if you think I'm way out there. But stranger things are happening, beloveds. And as Babylon falls, you have to make a choice in which world you want to live in.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Yeah, that wasn't the first time I have heard that they want people to lose their jobs. Even in the situation with the food chain backup,
Yeah.
they saying they want those people to lose their jobs because they got AI equipment, robots that are going to come in and do the job for them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I heard that too. They're going to, all the fast food restaurants, they're going to start putting AI into them. And so this go right along with it right here, what she's saying right here.
Right. Yep.
You also can see the UN coming in. The UN's up true. Yeah.
Hey,
What's that?
hey, right, when the Lord of hosts destroyed the earth with the flood,
Right.
he destroyed it because the fallen putting their DNA in people, right?
Right.
Same thing now, right?
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, same thing going on.
So, we float.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Right. Yeah, so we had Q&A. I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any questions, uh, comments, or anything about something that they came across? Then we'll go into the lesson from there.
Yeah, I have a question, Leonard. Uh, it's about creation.
Okay.
So the 6 day man was created, of course, on the 6th day,
Right.
and then Adam on the 8th day, correct?
Right. Right.
And we know how that works. That a day is 1,000 years to the Most High, so that's not really a true 6 and 8. It could be 6,000 a year, 6,000 year, 8,000. Okay,
Right.
so what day was Eve created? Because she wasn't created the same day that Adam was, correct?
Right. Right. No, she was created later.
Later. Okay.
Yeah, after he, and that's the thing that we were saying is two situations that once you get to the understanding that we didn't acquire, we don't know how long he dealt with Michael before he created them other 6 angels. And we don't know how long he dealt with Michael dealt with Adam before he created Eve.
Right, because obviously it was time past where Adam gave the animals names and other chores that he did in the garden.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
And he also jailed, just like the Lord of Hosts jailed with Yahweh. Is a time when Adam and him jailed. They came together. You know what I'm saying?
right.
They came together. Him and the Lord of Hosts had came together and understood each other and all that before Eve came.
Okay.
And he hadn't done nothing. That's what I'm saying. He didn't do nothing until what Eve done in the garden. And it's, like I said, it's not pointing a finger at the woman or trying to be a male chauvinist. It's nothing that happened. They was synchronized. Him and Lord of Lord of Hosts and Adam was synchronized. Then when he brought the woman is when the drama came.
Well, see, this kind of makes sense. So uh Michael and Adam was gelling. That's how he recognized that Adam needed a helpmate.
Right, exactly. Right. And
Because
that's
after
the
spending
job.
time with him, he said, okay, well, hey, look here, you're gonna need help in completing some of these duties that I got for you to do.
Right. Exactly. And then and not only that, when you write it about it, he ain't need no mate. He a supernatural being. And then Yahweh ain't need no mate. So then now you go back and look at that and you'll see they made him, and then as he went on, he saw when he started bringing animals to him, all these animals had mates. Then they said you need the man that the man that we formed, you need a mate. Because that's how they existing. You see that?
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it makes sense now and discussing this. That's why the serpent went to Eve
Right. Exactly.
instead of going to Adam first,
Right.
because of
Exactly.
the fact that Michael and Adam had this bond.
Right. And so yeah. So I'm glad you said that. So now go to Genesis. This is what I was saying about how we know that these Edomites came in there and they hoodwinked these scriptures. And then, you talking to people and they want to say, you always trying to find a way out. No, I ain't finding a way out. Let's go look at it based on what we just see. Genesis 3:15. Okay. So we in 3:15, right? And it says, and the Lord God. Right there, we already know this ain't Yahweh. It's the Lord God. said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Then here it go, 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, right? We already know she don't have no seed, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
The woman don't have seed.
Yeah, so we already know it's been tampered with. And so why? Why has it been tampered with? Because they didn't concoct this story over here. They came back here. They came back here and put this her seed in there. So when you look at what we just talked about, Adam and the Lord of hosts had synchronized, and he was doing what he had told him to do, keeping the commandments. Then he saw that he was alone. He gave him the woman, right? So it wasn't it wasn't no other woman for Adam until he made Eve. So after Eve came, every woman after that, Israelite woman or Hebrew woman or whatever, it's like Eve. So that's what he's talking about. Look what he's saying, 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, right? And between thy seed, which is Cain and his descendants, and her seed. That's women that look like her.
Oh, so thy seed mean more of your kind.
Your kind, right? But they put her seed, and we know that's a lie because she don't have no seed. So it was her kind. That wasn't what was there. And so you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, go to Sarah. And this enmity right there, what the enmity with Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah and Hagar.
It was enmity with Bathsheba. It was enmity with Solomon, with all the women he had. They go to enmity right there. Solomon was raised by David. So how did he get tricked off? The serpent came with these women. Man, not just Eve kind, but strange women also. You see that? It's enmity between her and her kind. And then you even go to Isaiah, and it says, he talked about the daughters of Zion. And then you come to find out that had a lot to do with why he brought the Babylonians there.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. But those are things that, they can't necessarily be discussed because you got to tiptoe around it because people gonna get uneasy about it. But scripture line upon line, you see that. You just gotta call it for what it is. It's just like David. You can't make no excuse for David. He slept with Bathsheba.
Right.
And he killed Uriah. You can't try to make no excuse for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Those are facts, yes.
Well, I'm fact. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. With all of that being said, and this is a follow-up question. Okay. So is it possible to say that Satan had a problem with man because, and I'm talking about the 8th day man now, had a problem with man because he was made in the image of God and in his likeness. And Michael wanted the angels to worship this new creation that came about. And Satan or Lucifer refused to do this worship because he felt like he was greater or better than man. That's why he had a problem with man and came upon them in the garden like that.
Okay, so let's look at that. So when you go to Genesis, Genesis chapter 1 and 26. You got it?
Yes.
It says, and God, see that? Notice it say God, don't say Lord God. Say God, say, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his image, in his own image. In the image God created him, male and female. Here we go. Here go the verse right here. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. See that?
Right. Yep.
So what we looking at right here is starting at Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. They returning to the earth, right?
Correct. Yep.
So, and the whole time he didn't.
That's
It's like a blackout. He calls it a blackout because of what Satan done, what Lucifer had done, right?
right.
Lucifer was on the earth. He had dominion before he caused his blackout. Now he coming back and he giving Adam the dominion. That's why he attacking him.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right.
So dominion is switching. So that's the problem he got.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So he got a double whammy. That's why when you go back and you're gonna see that he attacked the Messiah and he attacked the Lord of Hosts. He denigrated them. So he brought Adam. Adam got dominion on the earth. Michael over him. So he feeling all kind of ways because he got a problem with Adam and he got a problem with the Lord of Hosts.
Right. Because it's obvious he got a problem.
Right.
And he with man.
Right.
But man is just his tool to get back at the Lord of Hosts. Is what I'm beginning to see.
If he calls denigrate him, he denigrating the Lord.
Right. Okay.
And heaven. Right.
Gotcha.
Hey,
and like I said before, go ahead, Lamar.
Since we talking about Adam and David, when did now Adam was formed to rule the world, right?
Yeah. Adam had dominion over earth.
Did he lose it, or I mean, because David the king? Because did he lose it because he sinned in the garden, or what? I mean, how did
he lost because he was disobedient.
So it went from Adam to David.
Yeah. After like I was saying before, when you understand that the Garden of Eden, the land of milk and honey, the land of Canaan, all that's the same place. So Adam was kicked out, but he brought the Israelites back to the same area, the same geographical location when he brought them out of Egypt.
Right.
Remember what they saw? Remember what they saw when they got there? They saw figs and grapes and all that, big as a man head and all that.
Right.
Those Garden of Eden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So David, he brought them back there. David ended up took the role that Adam had.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else? Another question? Any more questions?
Yeah, I got one more, Leonard.
Okay.
I can't remember the passage, but it just popped into my head right now, where it says that the Lord of Hosts. How do I want to say this? That the sins of the fathers are visited upon the son until is it to the fourth generation?
Yeah, I think it is the fourth generation.
So,
I think that's in Ezekiel.
Yes, it's in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel, I do believe. But
18.
18?
I think it is. Yeah.
if you could just shed some light on why he's taking it to the fourth generation, the importance of the fourth generation in that type of situation, I mean, that'll help with some great understanding here.
Well, to me, when you look at that, even with it, what we've been dealing with in Ezekiel, I mean, in Genesis 15 was the time of the Amorites. It's the same time. So when you look at that and you start talking about DNA, so to get a person back around to if they done mix or mingled or whatever, it takes 4 generations to get that out.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We have discussed.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay, so with sin and iniquity, it still takes that long to rid it out of a family bloodline.
Right, you got a family bloodline or a man's house.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Anybody else got anything? Okay. I'm reading out of Daniel. I'm gonna start at chapter 1, read a few chapters, and then we'll discuss it as we go each chapter. Okay. I'm in Daniel chapter 1. It says, in the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. It says, and he besieged it, and the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, and part of the vessels of the house of the Lord, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that they should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning of the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. And among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and Hananiah Shadrach, and Mishael Meshach, and Azariah Abednego. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse, liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Belshazzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servant. I beseech thee 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with them with thy servant. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in their flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Belshazzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill and all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions of dreams. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the princes of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the musicians and sorcerers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued even unto the first year of King Cyrus. Okay? Any comments or questions on what I just read? That was chapter 1.
What's the difference between the prince of the eunuchs and the master of the eunuchs?
It's like a president and vice president.
Okay.
And then he put this one guy, Belshazzar, he put him over. Evidently he had somebody over each nation of men, each nationality of men. He had Melzar over the Israelites. It says in
Okay.
verse 11, then said Daniel to Melchizedek, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So he had this guy, this particular guy right here, this prince over the Israelites.
Okay. So Ashpenaz was over all the eunuchs,
He over
and
all of
Melzar was over the children of Israel,
them. Right,
children
right,
of Judah, brother. Yeah.
right. And then you notice in there, Lord of hosts there, because it says, now God had brought Daniel in favor. See that now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. See that? So he
Right.
had favor with the one that was over them. And then in 12, it says, prove thy servant, I beseech thee 10 days, and let them give us a pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of thy children that eat the portion of thy king's meat, as thou seest, deal with thy servant. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. So not only did he have these Israelites had favor with the prince of the eunuchs, but they also had favor with the one over them.
Okay.
So the Most High had worked. Yeah. There's some.
So one more question, Leonard.
Go
Do
ahead.
is it how should we look at this thing? The ones that went to Babylon, is this the righteous ones as opposed to those ones that was wicked, or did the rich ones go and the poor ones stay behind?
No, he said the ones that his good basket of figs, he took them out for their
Oh
own
yeah,
use.
right, yeah. So it goes back to that precept in
Right,
Jeremiah.
right. And
Okay.
the perfect precept for that is in Joshua, in Joshua when he he killed all the righteous men before the flood, so they wouldn't see the flood.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
got them out the way. So
Okay.
you got another one?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Daniel chapter 1, verse 3. It says, King spake unto Azareth, the master of his eunuchs, and he said, bring certain of the children of Israel and the king's seed and the princesses. And then it said, the children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in wisdom, cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had the ability of them to stand in the king's palace and to in whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans. So if it was Israelites that got on the slave ships, right? We know that those Israelites that got on the slave ships and came over here, right?
Right.
So you apply verse 4 to it. They want to make us think that we do some people that look like coons and all that on the boat. But it says right here, the children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge. Same thing on the boat. This is where they was in Babylon, same when they got them on the boat. Right? Hello?
Makes
Right,
sense.
right.
Yeah. So
Makes sense. Yes, sir.
what I'm saying is the judgment that we see coming, there ain't no excuse for it, because the same way, he telling you how they look. They knew who he was. Because if we looked at the way that they say they did, then they lying. They lying. So they did all that to justify what they was doing. We want to say that they want to make it look like what they did with OJ. And they started showing all those pictures of him before the trial. They putting dark tint on him and all that, and put him in a light to make it look like he a criminal when you look at it. So the same way right here, they already knew who he was, but they want to paint a picture as if what they did was justified. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. So anybody else got anything else? Okay, I'm in chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2 says, in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed a dream wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep broke from him. Then the king commanded to call the musicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for the show to king to show the king his dream, and they came and stood before the king. Yeah, I want to go back over here to chapter 1 right quick. I had lost my train of thought on something. So also in verse 4, they went to from what we seen with the Phoenicians and all that. We see when they started introducing these goddesses to these Gentiles was dealing with women. Gentiles believed that women was goddesses and all that, and angelic beings was, but the Israelites knew better. So right here is an example. They try to tell you that wisdom is a female, right? But right here, 14, the children in 4, Daniel 1 and verse 4, the children whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in wisdom and cunning in science, and such as had the ability in them to stand in the king's palace. So who formed Adam?
The Lord.
The Lord of hosts. So if he formed him and made him and all that, then he the one put the wisdom in, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
They want to shine light on that. So anyway,
Okay.
so I'm back in chapter 2, verse 2, 3. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the children, the Chaldeans, to the king in Sirach, O king, live forever. Tell thy servant the dream, and we will show the interpretation. And the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if thou show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. And the king answered and said, I know of a certainty that that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, and for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me. Tell the thing, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye shall show me the interpretation thereof. And the Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is no man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that acts such a thing as at, his, at any musician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requested, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods. See that? Lowercase. Whose dwelling is not with flesh. Okay, then 12 says, for this cause the king was angry and very vicious, furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain. And they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arach, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arach, the king, the captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arach made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then the king went to his house, made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. And Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of the God forever and ever, for wisdom and might is his. See that? You see that?
Yes, sir. Wisdom and might
Yeah.
belongs to the Lord of hosts.
See that? Okay. It did 21.
All right.
And he changed the times and the seasons He removed kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom. Look at that. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. So you can get away with that if you ain't know that was the Lord of hosts. See what I'm saying? So it's Yahweh, you can say it's a woman there, and if it was Yahweh, he can tell her to give them wisdom. But he got an angel already in place that's giving them the wisdom. See that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 22. He revealeth the deep and the secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who has given me wisdom. See that? And might, and have made known unto me now what we desire of thee, for thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arach, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon, bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arach brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. It says, and the king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, musicians, the soothsayers show unto thee to the king? But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar, what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and a vision upon thine head, upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what shall come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sake that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thine heart. Thou, O king, saw it, and behold, a great image. The great image whose brightness was excellent, and stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his feet and his arms were silver, and his belly and his thighs were brass, his legs of iron, and his feet part iron and part clay. Thou saw till a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and make them and break them in pieces. Then was the iron and the clay and the brass and the silver and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heavens have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and the iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. Whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the potter's clay, and part iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as for the toes of the feet, whereupon part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces and the iron and the brass and the clay and the silver and the gold, and the great God have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is the God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat at the gate of the king. Okay. Any comments?
Yeah. Go ahead, Lamar.
Wrong.
So
Okay.
if
Can
you look
y'all
at,
hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
If we look at verse 19,
Okay.
if you could read 19, 22, and 28.
Okay.
I'm
1920.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a point on them. Yeah.
Okay. Then was the secrets revealed unto Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Then it says, he revealeth the deep and the secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. And in 28, but there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these.
And if you go to Amos 3 and 7, you ain't got to go there. I'll read it real quick. It
Okay.
says, surely the Lord God would do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets until his servants the prophet. Wasn't Daniel a prophet?
Yeah.
And was he, and he's showing how he keep revealing secrets of this dream to Daniel?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
there's a little testimony to the word of the Most High that what he say is true, that he reveals his secrets to his servants.
Right. The prophets. Right.
The prophets, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Okay, you got something else, Lamar?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that goes back to the Daniel diet too, don't it? I mean,
Oh yeah, right, right,
he yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
That shows what your diet prays and your walk with the Lord of hope.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna read. You had brought up 22. I'm gonna read that because it goes back to Genesis too. It says, "He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him." Right. So who is he talking? Who Daniel talking about?
He talking about the Lord of hosts.
Right. So let's go to Genesis right quick. So it says, I don't know if you was online. We had this conversation before, but I'm gonna read this right here. So it says, uh, it says chapter 1, verse 14, and God said, "Let there be light, See that? Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years. Says and let them be for lights in the firmament. So he just said that the light dwelleth with him, right?
Right.
And then you go to Isaiah right quick, 43. And then it says right here, 43 and 13. He's talking to the Israelites. He started in verse 10. He says, "Ye are my witnesses, says the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no El form. We know there's no angel form. Nobody formed Yahweh. Neither shall there be after me." Then you go down to verse 13. "Yea, before the day was." See that? "I am he, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand." So what we're looking at, like I was saying before, is two of them there in the very beginning. Genesis 1:1. Let me read it. There's two of them there in the very beginning. It says, they returning to the earth. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, the angel of God, moved upon the waters." They go both of them. So he the creating spirit, right? That's what his name means. So the Most High said, "Make light." He make the light. The Most High commanded him, "Make darkness, make this," and then he make it. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's why he talking like that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna read. So we had an hour and 2 minutes. So let me. Anybody got anything for? I'm gonna cut it off right there. That was 2 chapters. Anybody got any comments or anything about?
Yeah, I got a comment on it. Daniel chapter 2, 41 through 43.
Yeah.
Now I know this is not talking about America, but we can really attribute those characteristics in those verses to what's going on in this country today.
Right.
Where it's talking about the toes being partly of clay and partly of iron,
Right.
and the kingdom is divided. This
Right.
land is divided. Democrats against GOP, father against son. You
Right.
know, because
Yeah,
of this,
also look at the miry clay.
the
Where,
Myra Clay. Yeah.
where Adam came from.
Oh, yep.
Ain't we awakened?
We waking up.
And the toes, we at the end of the 4 beasts. Ain't we awake?
Yes, sir.
We ain't mixing with them. Ain't that so?
Exactly. And then if you look in 43, where it say they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men,
Right.
look at all the interracial marriages
Right. Exactly.
and everything. So, this could can be applied to today's time right now.
Well, yeah, it is. It is prophecy today. Today. Just like I was saying before, a lot of people there's so much stuff going on in the New Testament that they don't understand. They didn't took a stand. So, who they tell you in Christianity the stone is that hit the feet of his image?
JC.
Right. But like I was saying before, when you see the miry clay, that's it. That's Israel. They came from Adam. Adam was formed from clay, right? So ain't we awake right now?
We are wakening up.
And so he said the saints. Let me read it because I don't do no paraphrasing. So I'm in Daniel chapter 10. Let me see if it's chapter 10, make sure. So
Talking about the saints waking up.
Yeah, that's Ezekiel 37, and plus that's talking about the miry clay
Daniel
also.
12. Okay.
18 says 7, Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. So that's the Israelites that he in Ezekiel 37. That's the stone. See that?
Right. Yep.
Right. Ain't none of JC.
Right. Well, we know that.
You see that?
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, I wanted to I'm trying to Taz it up on this, get on the line. So I'm gonna give some. I got some videos that's related to this, some suggested videos to watch. I got two of them. One of them is if you go to Prophets of Awakening, it's Israel was not destroyed in 70 A.D. It's dealing with Daniel, and it's part 1 and 2. And then the other one is the 4 beasts of Daniel. It's a video. You just go down, scroll down, you'll find both of those. The first one is Israel was not destroyed in 70 A.D. Parts 1 and 2. That's preferred watching and viewing. And then you got the 4th beast of Daniel. That's a good one to watch. So I was going to put those 2 videos out there for anybody that's got zeal and want to go check that out. Could add to the commentary that we already were just dealing with. Okay. So with that being said, anybody got anything else they come across their mind? They good?
As my brother Lamar say, all good.
Okay. So I'm gonna say,
all
yeah.
good.
Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at 7:00.
Shalom, shalom, brothers.
Shalom.
Come on, brother.
All right.